What's up everybody? Originally this video was part of a larger video where I modified the Quickjack to make it easier to move. But that video turned out to be pretty long and I decided to split it up and make a specific video just for this one modification. That way, if you're not interested in the Quickjack modification, you can just get to watching this particular change. I'll put a link in the description at the end of this video if you want to see this modification in action using it with the Quickjacks. So when I jack up the BMW, I use this jackpad adapter, which fits in the jackpad and allows me to lift it up without crushing the jackpad. I bought 4 of these jackpad adapters from Burger Motorsports. I'll put the link in the description so that when I'm using the Quickjack, I can lift up all 4 corners at once. The problem with these jackpad adapters is that while they fit into the slot, they're loose and they fall right out. And so when I'm using just one, I have to align it correctly so that it fits in the spot before I jack up the car. But the real problem is that when I'm using the Quickjack, I'm going to need to have all 4 lined up correctly so that I can successfully raise the car. And I think that that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to try and modify the adapter so that it will fit in the slot and stay in place. And then that way, all I really need to do is align the Quickjack underneath the car with the adapters and then raise the car up. I'm going to go to the bench. I'm going to show you what my plan is. Alright, so here's the plan. I picked up a 20-pack of these little spring-loaded ball plungers, or detents, that come in a housing. I bought a 20-pack from Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description. But there's a housing, there's a spring inside, and that spring is pressing up against the ball bearing, and it allows for a little pressure. And so my idea is that I'm going to install 1 or 2 of these on the sides of the adapter so that when I slide it up into the jack pad, it will bite into the side of it and hold the jack pad adapter in place. These particular ones are 6 millimeters in diameter and then 7 millimeters in depth. I was kind of eyeballing where I wanted to put it, and I want it to be high enough on the jack pad adapter so that it starts to bite right away and so that there's less chance of it falling out. What I did is I had a piece of this angle bracket, and when I put it in place here, it kind of puts it where I want it in terms of outside. So I'm just going to kind of go with it. And so I'm going to put this in place here. I'm going to kind of center it. And I'm going to draw a little circle here. And I don't know if you can see that, but it puts I don't know if you can see it. It puts a little line of where I want the detent to be. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it because I don't think it needs to be perfect because I'm not lining up to any specific spot for it. Just making a mark for it. So then, the plan is to drill a 6 millimeter hole that this will kind of press fit into, and that'll hold it in place. I don't have millimeter drill bits, so 6 millimeters is approximately 15/64. And so I have a 15/64 drill bit. And so I'm going to use that to drill the holes. I'm going to show you my setup at the drill press. You don't have to have a drill press. I just happen to have one, so I'm going to use it. So I have the drill press all set up with the 15/64 drill bit. And I have this special vise that allows me to move the piece around incrementally so that I can get the drill bit exactly where I want it, and it also helps hold it in place. I'm going to mount it up. That looks like it's all right. This drill press is old and was handed down to me, and the capacitor blew on it, and so I haven't had a chance to replace the capacitor yet, so I'm going to give it a little kickstart with my hand to help it get going. It is going to be loud as I'm drilling, so I apologize for the noise. All right, so that looks better. So here's the hole that it made. It's nice and clean. I'm gonna try and press fit this in. I may use the vise to press it in place. Yeah, so get it started. I think actually it'll just be easier. Just gonna put it in a little bit at a time, make sure it's not binding up. Just about in. All right. I don't know if you can see that, but I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. I'm gonna do the other side now. All right, that's good. All right, I think that's right. Second hole. No pocket lint. Oh, there you go. That one actually slid in nicely. So here we are back at the car. I've got my new modified adapter. And when I slide it into place, it stays perfect. It may not stay super tight. I can adjust maybe how deep I put the plunger in, but even here where they're almost fully in, it stays good. So I think this is gonna work well. I'm gonna modify the rest of them and then we'll jack the car up. Yeah, that's holding long enough that I can get the Quickjack underneath it and in place and then just lift it right up. Alright, so I finished modifying the last of the adapters and I think that they look good. One of the things to note was that as I got to the last couple, for some reason the drill hole was a little bit wider than I wanted it to be. And so the housings would be too loose and they would slide out. So what I ended up doing was putting a little dab of super glue inside the hole and then sliding the housing in, and that held it in place. I'm using the super glue that I had on hand. I used it for a house construction project that I was working on. It's really great stuff. It's this 2P10 construction adhesive, and it comes with an activator, which is basically just kind of like a spray alcohol. And so you can let it cure by itself, or you can spray it with the activator and it makes it cure super fast. You just got to be careful with the alcohol to see that it doesn't leave a stain on what you're working on. But in this case, I had no issues. Really great stuff. All right, so if you want to watch me using these modified jackpad adapters with the Quickjack, I'll put a link in the description, and that link will bring you right to where I start using it. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's more to come. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much.